welcome back to On the Road with Flora and Note, a podcast where we share our travel stories, personal insights, and candid conversations while on the road.
And today we are in Tokyo. We found this little playground near where we're staying, right beside the train track, so it might be loud every now and then. But we're here for a week, pretty much to eat and only film one video. So if you want to see that, you can head over to our main channel, Flora and Note.
And if you didn't want to watch our podcast, we also have our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so you can listen and hear our stories there. So today, our topic is traveling with our parents in our 30s. Because I think it's something that is very close to our hearts. It's something that we have been doing, especially the last couple years, like a lot more. It's a fun topic because there are very rewarding parts, but there's also struggles, and I think some of you may be able to relate. So yeah, we wanted to jump into that topic today.
I think the main reason we finally started taking our parents on vacations is that first, we are more financially stable. Two, we have a lot more time now.
Yeah.
So now that we're living this digital nomad lifestyle, we pretty much can pick and choose wherever we want, whenever we want. And we just have to ask our parents, are you ready to come with us?
But
so
also
it's quite easy.
Yeah, for them though, it's our parents are now, like my mom is 65, my dad is 70.
My dad is 80. My mom also 60, 67.
Yeah, so I think it's also that time.
I might get in trouble though.
Just say your mom's 45.
But yeah, my mom is 42. She looks 42.
So they're also at this time in their life where they're retired, they have some time, some money to travel. And I think it just kind of worked out to be also that we moved to Asia. That really changed things for us too, because before when we lived in Canada and my parents live in Hong Kong, I saw them once every 2 years. And I think that was quite hard for me to not spend time with them and see them. And now that we live in Asia, we just realized it's so much easier to spend quality enough time together with family.
And they all want to make a trip to Asia.
Yeah.
When we were in Calgary, nobody wants to come visit us because it's way too cold and there's nothing for them to do.
But I think aside from all of that, there's another reason for why we want to take our family on holidays now. Like for me, I think when I was growing up, my parents took me on a lot of vacations, and I feel that taking them on a trip now is a form of gratitude from me to them. Because I mean, you can never pay back everything your parents have given you. You know, like they put us through education, they fed us all these years, took us to all these trips. You can never give enough back. And I don't think they're looking for you to give back everything too, you know what I mean? But taking on these trips is like a way of expressing my gratitude to them for having me and like giving me everything that they have.
It's like the smallest thing we could do for them now.
That brings them joy. And I think seeing our videos kind of opens up their minds a little bit about traveling, because they feel like, oh, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to travel with you guys.
Yeah, and they also get the sense of security when they travel with us. I asked my dad this morning, what makes you happy traveling with us? Oh, and he's here in Japan with us, by the way. So we told him we're gonna take an hour to film this podcast. If you could wait at home. That's also part of the reality of traveling with your parents, is that you have to make certain arrangements that work for both you and your parents.
So what did he say about what he enjoys traveling, or why he enjoys traveling with us?
Well, the first thing he said, the best thing about traveling with my kid is that I'm looking forward to go home. He was just joking.
Yeah, no, that's not true.
Not true. No, it's a sense of security and having someone to talk to, and just being with us, spending quality time, creating memories. And I think one of the happiest things for me as well is to be able to chat with our parents while we travel in a deeper conversations. Because there's a lot of places where we travel with them. Little things remind them of what they have done in the past. And they brought up these stories that we have never heard before. And it's quite refreshing to hear their stories, to hear their perspective.
Because I think our parents, like both your parents and my parents, when they were young, they were into traveling as well. I mean, not to the scale of what we're doing now, because they were still very focused on, building a business, building a career, having kids.
Taking care of us.
Yeah, taking care of us. But they've had a passion for travel. And I think that's probably why we also like to travel. So yeah, hearing their stories is a big part of it, because when you're older and you start to spend more time with your parents, you realize that they really just want you to listen to them. And sometimes they want to listen to us and how we have changed and what we're thinking and what we're going through. But I think majority of the time, they want us to listen to them. And that was hard when we were younger.
I didn't have the patience to actually sit down and try to understand them.
And I think when we go visit them when they're at home, it's such a different environment and a different conversation, because when they are at home, their daily life is what they want to talk about. It's I want to talk about the grandkids, I want to talk about like my friends and the dinners and all of that. But when you take them into a foreign environment, then all of a sudden our conversations, it's like we can expand the topic of conversation. So it's pretty amazing, to do that. And and because the pace of travel becomes a lot slower when you're with your family, there's a lot of let's sit down and have a coffee. Let's have a longer dinner. Let's go home early and rest and just maybe have a wine, have beer or something like that, and just rest. There's more opportunity to chat.
And that's the reality of traveling with them now. They are getting a lot older. So having...
Is that your motivation for inviting them though?
I think it's one of them, because now that they are able to travel, they are healthy, it's the best time to travel with them, because you never know. I'm not saying this in a negative way, but you know that their time is more limited than ours.
Kind of, because I also feel like everyone's time is limited.
Yeah.
But it's almost worse to say that to my parents. Like if I say like, oh, I want to take you to go places, want to create memories because your time is limited. But then my real feeling is I could expire at any time. You know what I mean?
I know.
So it goes both ways.
Yeah, the only reason I brought that up because my father went to renew his passport. And he said that this is probably going to be his last passport, because he renewed the 10-year one. He's already 80. So it suddenly hit me. It's like, holy shit. This little time that we have left together, that we can take them out and explore the world and create memories.
So this year, when we invited my mom to come to Vietnam, it was her first time there, and she came by herself to see us. She wanted a little bit of a break from, all the busyness in Hong Kong. And she said, can I just come by myself to visit you? And I was like, yeah, of course. I was waiting for you to ask me. I would love to have you with us for a week or two in Vietnam. And I remember when we ran into a subscriber in Hoi An? Yeah. And they saw my mom traveling with us, and they were so happy to see that, because for them, they would love to take their family as well. They'd love to take their parents on a holiday to connect with them, to create more memories with them. But you need everyone to want to do it.
To be on board, yeah. You cannot force a trip, right?
Yeah, so it's really like a timing thing. Like I also always wanted to invite my parents to come with us somewhere, but it almost felt better when my mom asked to join. And I was like, okay, because she's ready. She's ready to come on our type of travel. And yeah, I think a lot of young people nowadays are hoping for their parents to want to join them, but also they'd want to spend time with their family.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of it has to do with us went to Vietnam a couple times, and to be able to show them that Vietnam is safe and it's beautiful and it's affordable. It's a good place to travel to. Like if we didn't make videos, it would have been a little bit harder to convince them. So what we do now also gives them that sense of security, and they trust us.
Well, the funny thing is my mom had a great week with us in Hoi An and Da Nang, and she went home and talked to her friends about it. And a couple months later, she and my dad hosted a trip for her friends to take them to Hoi An and Da Nang for the first time. So I thought that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was refreshing to see.
Yeah, that people are nervous about certain places, but you just need like one person. It's like a ripple effect. Like we gave them confidence. Mom had confidence to bring my dad. My dad had confidence to, okay, let's bring a couple more people. And then it happened and they had a great time. So I think travel is kind of contagious, you know?
Yeah.
And it's happy to see them enjoy travel at this age.
That's one thing I always wanted to do, is to take my mom on a trip. I traveled with her to a few places when I was young, but never really had a chance to bring her somewhere new, whereas I travel with my dad a lot. So it is on my list to bring her probably back to Vietnam.
That's a good balance.
Like the same place where we took Flora's mom. It's a good place, easy. We know the city really well, and I want to pay for everything, pay for her flight, for everything. So mom, just come with us and enjoy.
This is an open invitation for your mom.
Yeah. So I just want her to get healthier mentally and physically, and when she's ready, I'm just waiting for that message that says, I'm ready to go. Let's do it.
I think a huge tip we have though for bringing family on vacation is like, go to a place you are familiar with, that you're not going to be wanting to chase the tourist attractions, not wanting to have to hit these 10 things on the list when I'm in Japan or something. Because traveling with your parents, you kind of really have to see how they're feeling and be flexible with the plans. So when we go to a place where we're like, we've seen it all, we just want to take you to go see it. If you don't want to go there, it's fine. Like there's no feeling of disappointment either from their side or our side. It's just, we just want to spend quality time together. It's no longer about like, we want to see top 10 things in a certain destination. So I think that relieves so much pressure when we travel.
Even now, traveling with my dad, we travel a lot slower because he can't walk as fast as us, so we have to make sure to walk slower. And
It's pretty funny because today he commented and said that one of my struggles is trying to keep up with you guys, and then because I'm a fast walker. So I don't even notice it because I just keep walking and then, everyone's behind me. So he was like, I was trying to match your step to see how can you don't look like you walk really fast, but somehow you're really fast. And he's like, I was trying to match your step. It's just, I take really big strides, apparently. when we're walking, we're like, oh, we slow down, slow down, slow down. And we keep telling each other, slow down. But it's like little things that I think
we learn.
We learn, yeah. And if we're feeling tired, imagine how tired they're feeling. So it's a constant, like, you want to sit down? Like, or I'm also tired, do you want to sit down? Or I need to use the washroom, do you need to use the washroom?
Yeah.
Like those kind of questions. There's a lot of, every time we see a toilet, it's like, toilet?
I have never been to as many toilets as we did on a trip with my dad. but that's just that's also part of the fun, you know. It's now my first thing when we go somewhere. It's like make sure there's toilets for him.
Make sure we go and find the elevators.
Yeah.
And we're not trying to say you're old, in case you're watching this right now. But that's going to be our future as well. When we travel, when we're older, it's like, oh, it would be so good to know those places have toilets, have elevators, have escalators, all of those things. It's just something for us to realize and be prepared, because we want to keep traveling until we're 80, just like your dad. I think that's an amazing thing about travel, is like you can still continue going.
One of my biggest dreams is to one day be able to fly our parents to a beautiful destination, wherever it may be. They get to choose on business class, stay in
Me too.
in beautiful hotel, comfortable for them.
I would love to do that, and I think that's something that, especially for my dad, I think my dad likes a bit more luxury travel. Like I really wish that like one day I can just give him the best, you know, the best travel experience, the first class meals, the lounges, everything is fancy. Like for me, that is money well spent if we have the money. I've actually learned a couple things about myself when I travel with my parents. Because our travel style is, I wouldn't say we're like backpacker style budget, but we definitely are like comfortable budget travelers, like the cheapest flights, a functional room and doesn't have to be fancy. We honestly don't even care much about hotel breakfast and all of that stuff. Like
we're sleeping on the floor here in Japan.
Yeah, we're sleeping on a tatami. We live in like residential areas sometimes to save some costs. We don't mind just taking public transportation into the city. So we're pretty like
laid back
and chill about how we, like where we stay and how we travel around. But with traveling with our parents, like we did fight about this, which is, should we call a taxi or should we take the public transportation? Like my mind is obviously like, why would we pay a taxi? Taxi is like
10 times more expensive.
Yeah, it's expense that we wouldn't usually like be even thinking of spending. But when we travel with our parents, it's so different, and it made me realize like comfort and convenience is very important to someone's travel experience. For me, taking 30 minutes on the train to go somewhere, walking up and down the stairs, I don't see that as oh, it's too much or it's tiring or inconvenient.
But that's you.
But that's me, yeah. So when you travel with other people who are not like you, then you realize there's things that you kind of compromise. Like you are kind of on my dad's side, where you guys are like, why do that? Let's just get a taxi. We have 4 people, you know, like that. And I have to tell myself, it's more convenient. It's money well spent when we're comfortable.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing, compromise. No matter if you travel with your parents or your friends
or just each other.
We all have different styles of travel. So we just have to learn how to compromise, and you can't always get it your way. So you just have to find that balance so that both parties are happy, and just communicate. You need to have a plan. You need to communicate.
That's actually another struggle, which is we have to be more prepared now when we travel. Like traveling just the two of us, we are very last minute with our bookings.
We always wing it.
Yeah, we feel like it's okay, we'll get there, or we'll walk somewhere and we'll find somewhere to eat, and we'll book our flights like next week when we want to go somewhere. Like we're very last minute because of our lifestyle now. But traveling with our parents, they need to book things ahead of time. They need to check out the photos of the hotel. They need to know kind of what the itinerary is. So that was a difficult thing for us to sit down and be like, let's plan this out right now when we haven't even planned tomorrow. But I understand, like I understand why it is important to them. So this is all things that we are learning about ourselves as well. It's so different, but to make it a better experience for everyone, we've learned to prepare ourselves.
For them, it's peace of mind.
Yeah.
They want to know ahead of time where they're going to stay, where they're going to go, so they don't have to think about it until the day they travel.
Yeah. And it's actually not a bad thing, because now that we've like prepared everything, they would sometimes ask, like my dad would ask, like, so what is the plan for this again, or which date is this again? And then I will be able to answer him. And like he just sent, because we're gonna meet my parents in Bangkok coming up. So he found a restaurant he really wants to go to. So he was just like, can you make a reservation for this place, for this date, for this time? So it's like all these things. It's like once we're kind of on board with the whole plan and itinerary, it feels better too. It's almost like we haven't procrastinated this. Because before it would be like, oh, we'll handle it later, but they're stressed because we don't have a plan. We're stressed because they keep asking. So we're just like, put everything aside, plan this out tonight. Yeah.
But to think about it though, I think that's the normal way people travel. We are the weird one.
Maybe they're putting up with us.
You know what I mean?
Thinking like, oh my God, can you please just make a plan?
Like majority of the people would probably book trips months ahead of time. Book hotel months ahead of time. And they have something to look forward to. We don't do that because the different lifestyle that we have.
I guess.
So
we're the weird ones.
Yeah.
Well, we learned. So now sometimes we're like normal people.
Even though traveling with our parents, there are some minor struggles that we are learning to deal with. But I spoke to a friend yesterday who shared the same lifestyle, and he said, "This is the good problems that we have."
True.
A lot of people don't even have these problems right now.
Yeah. The problem to how to travel comfortably with our parents versus people are thinking, I want to have the time and the money to travel with my parents.
But having said that, the joy of traveling with our parents outweigh all the struggles.
The struggles are only struggles because we have to compromise. You know what I mean? Like, but the rest of the year, when we travel together, we have our own style, our own, like we're very compatible travel-wise, so it's easy. So it's like, we take turns, we spread it out. Like we want to see my parents during this time, and then we'll see your dad during this time, and then
see my mom.
See your mom during this time. Like we kind of split it up because honestly, everyone is so different that it's really hard to ever combine like a big family trip.
And they all live in different countries.
Yeah, they all live in different places. So it's kind of nice to have a separate time with like a different combination of parents and us.
Do you have any memorable experience that you have shared with your parents in the last year or two that we started traveling with them?
This year. I think this year was a very special moment for me and Mom. When Mom came in, I think January to Vietnam, and she had such an amazing time with us, and her style is really laid back when she's with just the two of us. Anywhere we go, she's down to go. She's very chill, like she'll have coffee with us. We need to do work, she will bring a book. She loves to just sit by the beach. She doesn't really care too much about letting her know the itinerary ahead of time. So I think she might be like the easiest one for us to travel with. And she had such an amazing time that when we went back to Samui in the summer, she was like, can I come to see you guys in Samui as well? Because I want to see this island that you guys love so much, this island that you want to make your home in the future. So we invited her over for a week, and I think that was one of the most life-changing travel experiences with my mom. She came to Samui, and then one day she asked me, like, is there some sort of like yoga or meditation thing that we can do, something that's very different from what she usually does? And I think the island itself just gives you that feeling of you want to let go of a lot of things and embrace life. So she asked me, so we decided to take her to breath work. So if you haven't tried breath work before, it's pretty intense, but it's also very like emotional. It's just basically using your breath to be able to just, you know, get everything going, get your body, get your emotions. Like it's a very mindful practice.
And powerful.
Powerful practice. And then you do an ice bath afterwards, which is kind of a shock to your system, and it's like challenging your body and your mind. And we took mom to breath work thinking like, we had a crazy experience the first time we did it. You ended up crying. You kind of like opened up some sort of emotion in your body that you started crying. We were like, okay, mom, let's take you to breath work. And she was down for it. And even the ice bath. And the whole experience for me was, I've never imagined that I would be able to experience something like that with my mom. And she said that it helped her a lot as well. And she's been practicing some breath work ever since. And at the beginning of that class, the instructor even asked us like, so why is everyone here today? And just share how you feel. And I was already in tears before the session even began, because I said, I just feel really grateful that I'm here with my mom. So I think that kind of travel just changed me and changed her, and it sort of is why I feel so excited to get to spend time with our family. Is we get to know each other on a different level, and it's like the most beautiful way to create memories together.
That's the kind of thing that we assume that our parents might not be interested in.
I definitely think we make assumptions. I'm like, oh, it's ice water, my mom's not going to go in there. Or
breath work. It's too zen.
Yeah, we're gonna breathe for 45 minutes and just lie there, and you know, like those things where we just assume, but we actually don't know. Like we have to give our parents the benefit of the doubt that they are also kind of adventurous. I think your mom would love to try so many of these things.
Yeah, I mentioned to her about breathwork and ice baths, and she's like, I would love to try it.
Yeah.
That's also one of
your bucket list
my
things.
bucket list to do with my parents.
So if you're watching this and considering taking your parents on a vacation, on a holiday, then I hope our conversation helps you to move forward with that decision, because it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be a way for you to really get to know each other, and it's going to be worth it. And it may be the start of some wonderful memories you get to create together. And also, if you have been taking your family on trips, like your parents on holidays and on trips, then we also love to hear your stories and maybe some of your struggles and some of the funny things that happen and how you adapted to each other. So leave us comments below, and we'd love to hear some of those interesting stories.
And also, if you have any ideas for topics we should talk about, let us know in the comment section as well. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the road.
Bye.
Bye-bye.